What is going on, guys? DBG here, and the $250,000 tournament is coming up on Saturday. So in this video, I am going to be talking about what you guys should expect. So I'm going to be doing a little preview of the players, giving my predictions, and yeah, so pretty much what I'm going to be doing is, if you guys don't know anything about the comp scene, don't know much about the comp players, I'm going to be talking about, obviously, all of the individual guys that are going to be competing. Well, the ones that I know of anyway. And I'm going to be talking about what you should expect on each people's teams and what play style you expect people to play, because it's going to be a little bit different, because you're not going to be seeing the behind the back as much as you would have previously. So now we're going to start off with having a look at the players. So the 250k tournament, the players that you can't see, I'm pretty sure the way the seeding is now, seed number 1 is neweditionflash, who was up there on October the 12th because he replayed it again and got the highest point total, something like 3,900, which is ridiculous. So you're going to see Splash as the, if I'm referring to someone as Splash, it is neweditionflash. If I refer to someone as Brown Boy, it's Maddie. Or if I refer to someone as tydebo, it's twowayroco, by the way, just if you guys wonder what I'm talking about. Also, Got Swag is YBC. So the qualifiers the 18th of January are Jinsanity. It is just Isaac, FSU, the God. I'm not entirely sure. I know nothing about him. And Moneyman 260. And unfortunately, Shump or Boo Painter missed out by 1 point. So first of all, I'm going to go from top to bottom of what I know about these guys. Two-way-roko, tydebo. He's a play with friends warrior. He's only good on play with friends. He's Giannis made, Ben Simmons made. Basically, he went through 2k19 he won every single term 2k19, every difficulty that he entered. And every time he won something, it was a different excuse that he could only use X, Y, or Z player, or he could only play on certain difficulties. Came into 2k20 and is probably equally as dominant, if not more dominant, in this game. He's a little bit behind the back made, but I don't know, he just finds ways to win, so he's a player you can't count out. Goggles is a guy who, I'm not sure, up until a couple of weeks ago, has not been playing the game much by the looks of it since he qualified. But again, Goggles nearly made it through all the way last year, and I think had he beaten Turnip, he had a great chance against Skip and probably would have won the 250 grand then. Again, a player who's very good on defense. Isn't, like, the weird thing with Goggles is he does not cheese nearly as much as a lot of players, and he's still unbelievable. He's a guy who has a great chance of being a bit of a dark horse for this tournament. New Edition Flash or Splash Edition would have arguably, between him and Tyler, been the favorite to win this entire thing 2 days ago, and he's been screwed 2 days in a row. Like Splash, if you're watching this or any of his fans are watching, he has been screwed 2 years in a row. I'm not sure, I think I said 2 days in a row, but yeah, 2 years in a row. Last year, they patched a shot contest like 3 days before the tournament, and the shot contest mainly affected base 11 players. His entire team was base 11, so he got screwed badly by that shot contest patch. And then this year, he's out here using guys like Tony Parker and stuff for the behind the back, and now the behind the back gets patched. Like, he cannot catch a break. But hopefully, he goes and gets himself drafted into the E-League, because while I'm not going to count out Splash, by no means am I counting him out. It's an uphill battle for him to change his complete playstyle in 3 days. Matty or Brown Boy or Uncool Matty, or Matthew Grant, the former starting point guard for Detroit, is, I don't know, he's probably the best real life basketball player of all of these. Look, I have not seen him play in a long time. He was probably the best MyTEAM player back in 2k18. I haven't watched him play in well over a year. Played in the 2K League for the Indiana Pacers. And funnily enough, while he's going to be playing in this tournament for 250,000, one of his best friends as a kid is actually playing professionally over here in Ireland. Josh Wilson, and he's actually the starting point guard for Aina Basketball Club, who are in the national championship final. So that's going to be hilarious. Like, two friends growing up, one of them competing in basically the world championship in 2K for 250 grand, while the other one's playing pro ball and competing in a national championship final. So they've both come a long way. But Matt, I don't I don't know how he'll do. Again, another player you can't count out. I don't know how he's a point guard, so he's basically behind the back made, to be honest. He's a point guard in Pro-Am. I don't know how good he's going to be without the behind the back. YBC is a bit of a weird one because it's this, like, throughout the years, me and YBC, we've probably played 15 times, and I'd say he might have won 7, or he might have won 8, I've won 7, something like that. Like, it's close. He might have the slight advantage, but there was a while where I felt like I had his number. And the thing with YBC is that he beats everybody. And when I mean, like, he's one of the most underrated players in all of my team. Do I think it'll be a miracle if he wins this tournament? Yes. Do I think he has a chance? A slight one. Like, people have already counted him out as a guaranteed first round flood, and that works to his advantage because he was like the initial person. He played bait defense before anyone knew what bait defense was. So YBC, he relies on you thinking he's not going to be a good player, and then he can go and destroy you. There's a reason why in those kind of friendly games when he's managed to beat turn-up defense, managed to beat tydebo in certain games before. So don't count out YBC. He's a really good player. It's Clay Way, not a bad player. He's like a comp level player. I don't see him win this tournament, to be honest. Looker is very hit or miss. If Looker's hot for all 4 games, he's a great chance. But I don't know. I've seen Looker blow out some of the best players in the world. I've seen Looker run so many great players close, and I've also seen Looker lose games that he shouldn't lose. So I don't know. I'm not going to completely count him out. He's definitely in with a chance. But he could also is one of, I don't know, he could also get first round very easily. Gaming God, he qualified with ESL, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if he made it past second round. Pretty good player. Qualified mainly because Matty qualified because Yurik 111 got kicked out for being from, he said he's not from Russia, even though everything he has is Russian. I think that's why he was, whatever country he's from not right country. And it was the same with Gaming God. Yurik actually won game week number 2. Yurik would actually be like 1 seed below tydebo, and I managed to beat Yurik a couple of weeks ago, or on Saturday. But Gaming God managed to get in there. 2,700 was still an okay point score. I don't know. I'd be shocked if he won more than 1 round, but again, I don't know how he's going to react to the note behind the back. Jen is a really good player. Jen seems to have Splash's number a bit. Jen has beaten Splash a few times, and Tyler and Jen had a best of 3 series that went into 3 games last week, or about 10 days ago, so that could be a close one. I'd say Jen is definitely right up there with favorites for this tournament. Mr. Hollywood, I've never watched him play, but from what I've heard, he's fantastic. Like, from what I've heard, he could go on to win this whole thing, so I'm not going to say much about him. ONIST, no idea who he is, so I'm not going to speak on him. Jamar was a player, I actually said it this time last year. I was like, look, Jamar he's been in the league, I think he's been in the league for the first 2 years, but he was one of those players I was like, he legitimately has a chance of upsetting anyone in a one-off game. And the fact that he managed to get enough points to qualify one of the weeks means that you just never know with someone like him. A couple of years ago, we made some tournaments, and it was this big My League ran by 2k20 Central, and Jamar went and won the whole thing, beating the likes of Turn Up Defense, Shump, Jinsanity. Like, he beating the best out of the best on the way to getting that. So yeah, that was pretty much it. So Jamar has a good chance. And then the 4 guys who qualified last week, Jinsanity, again, a really good My Team player. I have not watched him much this year, but really good, so I'm not going to completely count him out of the competition. But judging by some of his results, I can't see him winning, but again, you just don't know. Then the other guys, I have absolutely no idea. I have absolutely no idea about Isaac, who supposedly Isaac is good. But even the way Isaac talks about himself, I was in a stream and he literally just went, he was like, he could potentially beat anybody, but he didn't even see himself at the level of the likes of Splash and Tyler. But you never know. He's going to be number 2 or 3, I think, in the qualifying seed, so he might get a good draw. I might get a bit lucky, and then I know nothing about FSU or know nothing about Moneyman, so I'm not going to speak about them. So now we are on to the players that are going to be used. So the point guard position, I'm assuming Brandon Roy is two guys / small forward. I have no idea who the spotlight player is going to be tomorrow. I have no idea what the spotlight packs are going to be or who the reward is going to be. So I could be a little bit wrong with any of these players, and any player that is not released as of today, Thursday, that is in any squads. I'm not psychic, so I can't predict it. So I don't think you're going to be seeing too much of variation at the point guard position. I think you're going to be seeing mostly Gilbert Arenas and Derrick Rose. I think that's going to be the combination for most players. Actually, no, it's not. It's going to be a combination for some players, Gilbert Arenas and Rose. So these are the two best. I don't know. These were the two best behind the back point guards in my opinion, because both of them were extreme threats to go into the basket. They could both shoot the lights out and were purchasable from the auction house. So that's where you're going to be seeing a lot of these guys in the tournament. A player that I don't think you're going to see anybody run, that casuals will expect a lot of, is J.R. Smith at point. I think you might see him occasionally being used at 2, but I wouldn't be surprised if you don't see this guy at all on the PS4 side of the competition. So yeah, that is probably a player that you're not going to see but you expect to see. And then the two of them, I think you're going to see maybe Splash running Tony Parker. A couple of guys who might have got Tony Parker before the behind the back was patched. You might see a couple of them because the release is still fantastic. And I think you're going to see a lot of Penny, because height is still a big factor, and you're going to see a lot of people, I don't even like on cheese, but using a lot of height in their lineups. So I think you are going to see a couple of Pennies, and the smart players that know how to use them will put him on the other team's worst offensive player, because he's got clamps, so he's not that much of a liability on defense. However, his lateral quickness is quite poor of 77. But he's got range extender, good release, and I'm pretty sure you'll see him in a squad of a guy like tydebo. So another player you're going to see in a squad, but I don't know if you're going to see him a point guard or power forward, is Ben Simmons. So I don't know how I feel about Simmons. The mad thing is that the other Diamond Simmons, so the 95 overall Diamond, is a tiny bit better. This is the tiniest bit better than this card here. Same badges and all. Literally, I think plus 15 3 balls the only big difference. But yeah, this one's a buyout. So I think you're going to see a lot of Ben Simmons. And I think you're going to see him as a situational player, last 3 on the bench type player, that if someone's is beating you for height-wise, or one of your smaller point guards are struggling, just throwing Ben on the floor, because he is the best defensive point guard in the game. But I do think you're going to be seeing more Pennies than Ben Simmons, to be honest. But maybe not, because Ben is a lot more affordable right now. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the point guard position. I don't see there being anyone else being ran, to be honest. The 2 guard, you are going to see maybe in 100% of squads, Tracy McGrady. Tracy McGrady, I know he's 500k, he's the best card in the game. Straight up. Was the best. Actually, no, he's probably second best after the patch, but before the patch, he was without question the best card in the game. You are 100, you may see him on 100% of squads. Another player that you might see is, you're obviously going to see Ray Allen, premium. So for the lock-in for all these players, a lot of people are going to be running with Rose and T-Mac, and the rest of the guys aren't that expensive, I don't think, except for Duncan. You're going to be seeing a lot of Ray Allens, because again, he may be the best 2 guard in the game. We don't know about Brandon Roy. I have to assume we're going to see a couple of Opal Brandon Roys in the squad, because he's a 6'6 T-Mac. And then with that, you might see a lot of T-Mac being ran at the 3 and Roy being ran at the 2 if they are basically the same card. And then say maybe Ray Allen off the bench. And then other 2 guys you might see being ran at the 2 guard position, because of the fact that handling is a little bit worse. I think you might see the occasional Danny Granger being used. I think because of his height at 6'9", his base 11, which is still a really good release, and the fact that he's got quick first step, he's got clamps, he can dunk a bit, he's got a great 3 ball, and his one downside was his handle and lack of handling badges, but I still think you might see him used in 1 or 2 teams, but I don't think it's going to be that prevalent. And then at the small forward position, I think you're going to see a lot of, say, T-Mac, especially if Roy is good, you're going to see a lot of T-Mac. You're going to see Odom. I'm pretty sure a lot will use Odom, because Lamar Odom is a 6'11", pretty much demigod in my team. Or say 6'10", he's huge. You might see him at the 3, you might see him at the 4, depending on who the player is, but you're going to see Odom, I think, in most squads, somewhere in them. Other wings you might see are DeMar DeRozan. I think he's going to be used a lot, that pink diamond one, because again, he can shoot the ball really, really well, go to the basket. You're going to see a bit of Kobe Bryant. I think, without question, someone will have Kobe in their squad. I don't think you're going to see that much of Kobe. You might see like the occasional Paul George or something, but I doubt it. Jimmy Butler might get a little bit of use from somebody. But that's going to be a lot of it for the wings. And then lastly, a player I think you're going to see in most lineups as well. Not as good with the handle patch, but you're going to see an awful lot of Larry Bird because his jumper is money. And yeah, Larry's just really, really good, I guess. I don't think there's any other way to describe it other than he's pretty good in my team. So the power forward position is one guy, and his name has a lot of letters, Giannis. You may see Giannis on the floor 100. Like, there may be, like, every single team will have Giannis. T-Mac and Giannis, I think, are the 2 guarantees. Every single team will have Giannis. Giannis is going to be the best defensive player in this competition, and you need Giannis on the floor. You pretty much need Giannis on your team, and you need to have Giannis on the floor more often than Giannis isn't on the floor if your defense wants to be up to scratch at the comp level. You're gonna be seeing, you may not see much scoring out of Giannis, but because of the behind the back patch, he actually becomes one of the best offensive players in the game as well. He was already a demigod, and now he's even more of a demigod. But yeah, so Giannis, I think sometimes might be a little bit quiet if you see a Giannis on Giannis matchup. I don't know how easy that'll be to score, but if you are seeing players you're going to see a lot of quote-unquote Giannis-made players this weekend, where they score 40, 50 points with Giannis and no one can stop them, and that's going to be a real thing in the tournament, because people have to find out what the new cheese is after behind the back, and I think Giannis cheese might be a thing. Other players you might see are Blake Griffin. You might see Bill Russell at the power forward position. He is definitely someone that I think some players will use at the power forward. And then if you see Bill Russell at the power forward, then at that stage you might see a couple of people using Kristaps at the power forward position. Do not lock in that. I don't think you'll see much Hakeem there, but you might actually see a bit of Hakeem at center. But Kristaps, I think, is going to be used mostly as center unless someone's running a big man at power forward, because if they're using a quick first step power forward, it is like auto baskets on Kristaps. So I can't see Kristaps matching up to Giannis or anything. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the power forward position. And then the center position, I doubt people are going to stray too much from the David Robinson and Bill Russell combo. And if they don't have the MT for Russell, I can see a few people running with Hakeem. I can see a few people running with Kristaps at center just to flat out score. And I can see a couple of people using Yao, especially just out of almost precaution in case if there are server issues and you can't really shoot the 3 ball as well as you'd like. Yao is still an absolute glitch. So I think that's pretty much going to be it for the center position. So yeah, that is what you guys can expect from each of these teams. Leave in the comments who you guys think are going to win. My prediction right now is going to be, I'm predicting Tyler to win, just because, to be honest, he just seems to win. But if it is a server issue, like if the servers are an issue like last year, literally anything can happen, and there's no point predicting anything because the best player probably isn't going to win. It's just whoever gets host every time, which, yeah, that can be a bit of a problem. But anyway, yeah, I know nothing about the Xbox side, so I'm not going to even talk about that. And I think whoever comes out of the PS4 side is going to win. I'd be very, very shocked if someone on the Xbox side wins. But anyway, yeah, that is the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.